Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we're looking into the disappearance of Tracey Elizabeth Brazzel. She went missing 1995, Everett, Washington. 22 years old. Absolutely stunning. 5'2", 130 pounds. Black inside out sweatshirt cut off above the waist with cut off sleeves. A black leather jacket. Blue jeans. Black shoes. Carrying a red wallet-sized purse with long straps. Brown hair, blue-green eyes. Her hair was bleached blonde at the time of her 1995 disappearance. She has tattoos. Her nose and ears are pierced. Some agencies spell her name differently. It says she was departing from Kodiak Ron's Pub, Airport Road, State Route 99. They found her vehicle 3 days later, parked a half a block from her residence in Keeler's Corner Apartments, so in North Linwood. So her vehicle was found 3 days later, parked a half a block away. Somebody had busted the passenger window out, but there was no glass inside of the vehicle. There was no, well, we'll just say there was no glass around the vehicle or in the area where the vehicle was. It looked like they had busted the window out somewhere else and then moved the vehicle. I don't know if there was no glass in the vehicle, but there was no glass, I guess, probably around the vehicle. So they probably busted it out somewhere else and then moved it. There was a small spot of blood on the passenger door. The car had been driven 25 miles since the last time she put fuel in it. So maybe somebody grabbed her when she put fuel, but then they say that it looks like she made it back to her apartment after the bar. So I don't know. She's never been heard from again. So did somebody break into her apartment or what? Or did they get her in the parking lot? Or I don't know what they did. Maybe they followed her home from the bar. She was employed as a hairstylist at the Great. That's what be most likely is following her home from the bar. She quit her job May 25th, 2 days before her disappearance. She quit her job. She's never picked up her last paycheck. Her mother and her, they had a close relationship, and she visited her daily. Her loved ones told authorities that it's not like her to just leave without warning. They've done extensive searches in the surrounding areas. They couldn't find anything. Her parents are divorced, and her father resided in New Jersey at the time. They announced they had identified somebody named Danny Ross Giles in 2011 as a suspect, and also in the murder of Patty Berry, a 26-year-old woman who disappeared July 1995 and was found stabbed to death a week later. DNA had linked Giles to samples from a blood spot on the exterior of Brazzel's car and the crime scene in the Berry case. He was in prison for felony indecent exposure at the time. He has other convictions for sex crime, including a 1987 rape conviction. I wonder what he did with her body. Giles was charged with the murders of both women. A photo of him is posted in the case. He later wrote a jailhouse letter in which he denied having anything to do with her disappearance, but admitted he had been in her car and her apartment, supposedly to buy drugs. But I don't think so, because he busted out the window, it looks like, because he's got blood on the outside of the car. So that probably was from a cut from busting out the window of her vehicle. And then he was in her apartment. So he was convicted of the other person's murder, 2014, and sentenced to like 50 years in prison. But then they dropped the charges against him in Brazzel's case, and they were dismissed without prejudice, means they can go back on and try to charge him again later. So, and we're wondering, what did he do with her body? She's stunning, right? Anyway, there's this woman, and this is a Jane Doe, but this was April, June 2010 that they died. But I'm looking at her. Look at her. Okay, we'll do it little by little. Okay, we'll go by her eyes. Look at her eyes. And then we'll say, look at her eyes. And then we'll say, look at her nose and around her nose and her facial shape right there. And we'll go across that right there as well. You see? And then we'll do her lips and her chin. This area right here. Doesn't she look like her? And because of that, she's in her whole facial shape. It just looks to me like it's such a possibility that it could be her, even though this is 95. This is 15 years later. So 15 years later should be 37. I don't know what to say. I think it just looks so much like her. So, I don't know. Can you imagine? It happens every now and then, something like that. But not very often. Armed Forces Base. Armed Forces Base. Wow. She was discovered near Spanaway McKenna Highway and Pacific Avenue in Training Area 9 of Joint Base Lewis-McChord. That's crazy. Doesn't it look like her? Is it just me? What do you think? Anyway, let me know what you think. There's not enough Jane Does for as many people as there are missing. There's only a few Jane Does. And then there's a lady in Canada, but I don't think, even though the estimated death is unknown, and it does look similar, like it could be her, but I don't think so, because I don't think so. I don't think it looks like her at all. The chin, the length of the lips from the chin, and I think this one is, there was a girl that was trying to get into Canada, trying to go see her dad, and she went missing. And when she went missing, it wasn't really that far from where this one was found, and that's who I think this is. So, and I don't know if her remains will be found or what he did with her remains, because it seems like he, the other people he's outside, he probably didn't have any way to plan or get rid of him, but it seems like he might have been in her apartment. I don't know. But that's very sad. Anyway, that was 1995. And if you have any information, sometimes people talk. So if you know anything, contact them. Even if somebody got drunk, you heard it at the bar, maybe you heard information from the Kodak Ron's pub while people were drinking, You don't know if it's relevant. You don't know if it's true. Give them the information. Let them know. Let them decide if it's relevant or true. Let them worry about it. Then you don't have to have it on your mind, and you don't have to worry about it anymore because you told them, right? And that's what I would do. So anyway, please feel free to leave comments. Don't forget to pray for their family and their loved ones. I don't understand. Oh, he admitted to the other one because they had her body and they had the evidence to prove it, maybe. And because they don't have her body and they don't have the evidence, maybe that's why he didn't admit to it. Because I think he did it. I think that, I don't know what he did with her body, but because they found his blood right there on the scene, it seems like he probably did it. But I don't know, maybe not, maybe not. Please feel free to leave comments and let me know what you think. Maybe, I don't know. He admitted to being in her car and her apartment, so it makes sense that she goes missing, that he's the one that did it. He's the last one there. I just have no idea what he did with her body. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Please feel free to leave comments, which means if he did it, there's no way this is going to be her. There's just no way. So, because that's 15 years later, and he probably, there's no way. But it does look like her, doesn't it? Anyway, please feel free to leave comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye-bye.